Okay, so we're viewing the agenda page. This is your agenda that you just created. And I want you to imagine now that you're a salesperson and you want to send different possible sessions to different customers. So do you see anything on this page that might let you start doing that?
I don't see any way for me to send this agenda to somebody else, but I do see a way to add sessions to this agenda or to create a new agenda.
Okay, so yeah, when you hit that new agenda button, what would you expect to happen?
I would probably expect it to pop up and take me back to the original page where I could select things. And since there's a new agenda, I guess there has to be some way to save it under a different name.
Okay, so this is what would happen when you click that button.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I think that makes sense. Kind of gets it out of the way immediately that there has to be some way of differentiating the agenda. So there's a new name. So type in the name, click create.
Okay. Download the right one. I think this is the right one. I might not have printed all the screens, but then that's what you would get. So is that basically?
Yeah, and now we're back at basically the first page, which I think this is the exact same page, which is what I would expect.
Yeah, so when you say exact same page, can you talk about that a little more?
I think this is the same printout as the first one you handed to me when we started this, saying, what do you see, what do I feel like? And actually, no, this one is different because the first one had a login one, and this one doesn't have a login. So,
do you see anything else that's different about this one versus the original one?
Yeah, this one has a add sessions to drop down. So I'm guessing that this drop down contains a list of named sessions, like whatever, session 1, session 2, session 3, or agenda 1, agenda 2, agenda 3.
Okay.
And that if I click the drop down on it, that I can then select that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have that mocked up, but that is how it would work. So let's pretend again that you this time you're interested in SAP sessions. So you click some of the filters, which is not part of this testing. It kind of gives you, whittles you down to 5 sessions. That's what we've got there. And so gone through the selecting, deselecting sessions before. How does this page feel?
This feels fine. It feels like the old one where I could hit the plus to expand and get more details on it, or I can hit checkboxes to add them to the current agenda. This one obviously shows that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SAP sessions, and that I'm interested in 4 of them.
Okay. So now that you've added some stuff, how would you go look at your schedule for the conference?
I'd go to view my agenda in the top right here.
Okay. So we've got that. So how do you know? So the last time you were on this page, there's different stuff. So how do you know that you are looking at the right thing? And because you're not looking at the first agenda.
Right. So the thing that jumps out that's different is now that there's this extra line here, which lets you select whatever agenda you're on, which wasn't there before. So I guess that's how we differentiate.
And if you wanted to look at your first agenda, what would you do?
I'd click over here on that little drop-down thing. I'd expect it to do a drop-down menu with, agenda 1, agenda 2, agenda 3, and I can select the one that I want from there, and that this page would refresh with that information.
So you think it would refresh as soon as you selected an option?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are also, do you see there are two options for the specific agenda?
The rename and delete one.
Yeah, so what do you think rename would do?
If I clicked rename, I would expect, kind of like when I hit new agenda, that it would pop up with that same exact thing, only it would have the name in it, which in this case is Acme Systems, and it would have rename as opposed to create as the button to push.
Okay, so this is what would pop up. Is that kind of what you were expecting?
That's exactly like I was thinking, yeah.
Okay. So you would just expect to be able, what would you expect to do in that field there?
This field, I expect to be able to backspace, delete,
Okay.
type in various characters, and then hit save.
Okay, awesome. So let's pretend you hit save, and let's pretend the name updated. What about that other feature, the one next to rename? What do you think would happen if you hit delete?
Delete, if I hit delete, I'd expect a similar pop-up, basically saying, are you sure you want to delete this, and then like a delete button.
Okay, so this is what would pop up.
That's pretty much exactly what I said.
Good. How does yes, no feel for controls, or are you saying you would want it to say delete? So it's a little bit more, reinforces that what's happening.
I don't think this is data sensitive enough that you need to be that forceful with it. I think yes, no is perfectly fine.
Okay.
It is a little bit off-putting to me that the yes and no are different icons, but
Okay.
otherwise,
So can we revisit, show you the last screen from the renaming?
yep.
You'll see it kind of does a similar thing. Does it somehow feel different in this context from the delete? So if we put them side by side, just like to know a little bit more about how you feel about the delete box versus rename.
Sure. And I really thought about it until right now, but yeah, like, so when you go to rename something, like, you know that's what you're going to be doing, and so you expect to just change it and save, and that is by and large the process. When you click delete, though, you have the option of yes or no. It's not necessarily guaranteed. I don't know. Like if I was for sure like delete, like yeah, having the yes selected makes sense, but the confirmation screen is supposed to be kind of an option as opposed to a full workflow.
I see. So are you saying you would have yes and no look similar rather than being vastly different in that warning context versus the renaming context? Did I get that right?
Correct, yeah. This being a workflow, having the most likely option prominent makes sense to me.
Okay.
This being a confirmation screen, I would expect to see yes the way it is and no the same way that yes is depicted here.
Okay. What if it only said yes and you could click the X or click somewhere else on the screen to get out of that action?
I think I would actually prefer that.
Okay. That would feel familiar?
That would feel familiar, yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. We're going to pretend now that you have gone away from the site. It's been like a week or something. You come back to the site and you want to view your agenda, like you bookmark the page. You come back to the site and this is what you see. What does that feel like?
It feels fine. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay. What would you expect to be able to do on this page?
Well, it makes sense that I have to log in for it to pull up my actual agenda. So this is kind of a forcing function to make me log in, which seems natural progression to me. So I would click sign in and log in, and then I would expect it to pop up with my agenda.
Okay. Cool. So now I have these are the ones that I said printed really big, so I need to figure out how to make that not happen because it looks ridiculous. But now you've decided, oh, I'll leave it like this. Now you've decided to bring up the site on your phone.
Okay.
So you've gone to that sessions page, which is where we started out, and you scroll down a bit, and this is what you see. You see a giant ass phone that's bigger than iPhones. But hey, at least it's better. I can see it better with the camera. So
It's an iPad mini. I mean.
yeah, pretend it's a tablet. So this is what the mobile view would be. So this is the sessions page. Can you talk a bit about what you're thinking?
I mean, this is kind of what I expect to see from a mobile view on it. I'm assuming that this right here, the page that I'm on, the mobile page I'm on, is somehow filtered down, and that I can scroll through it. And similarly, hit checkboxes or deselect checkboxes. It's got the similar drop down for which agenda you're actually looking at, and the ability to view the whole agenda.
So with what you just called the drop down, can you talk a little bit about what you would how that interaction would happen? What would you expect from that thing?
Sure. So when you're on a mobile setting, usually when you click what would normally be a drop down that would just make a box like an actual web browser, it actually pops up a box like a select box.
Okay.
With the ability to then select whatever pops up that you want, and then it goes away and refreshes the page.
Okay. And what would change about that box when you scroll back down? Would you see something different? Would it look the same?
I think it would look the same. I mean, it might have a slightly more mobile feel to it in that maybe it's got like the radio buttons next to it or lines between the different items. So it's a poor example, but imagine like this was agenda 1, agenda 2, agenda 3, and that popped up in a page. That there's little delimiters between them, so that it's got clear clickable areas because you're on a mobile device. So you just tap whatever it is, and then it goes back.
Okay. And if you wanted to read more about a session, how would you do that?
So I do notice that the plus signs are gone from here. I'm assuming that, kind of like I just described, if I clicked anywhere in this delimited area,
Mm-hmm.
that it would pop up with information about that session or do an expansion thing to show more information.
Okay. Do you have a preference for one over the other on that?
I prefer that if I clicked it, that it expanded
Okay.
and showed more information on the same page
Okay.
rather than doing an overlay.
Okay, good. So now you want to view your agenda. So what would you do?
I would put view my agenda.
Okay, so let's pretend it's switched to that page and scroll down a little bit, past the header and all of that good stuff. So this is what the mobile view would look like. What do you think about that?
I like it. I think it's the same kind of thing like I said on the last page. It's got the similar feel and functionality just in a mobile environment. Same thing with the ability to see which agenda you're looking at and change it.
Okay.
We've got, you said that there's multiple menus, so this is one of the menus I guess that's on this page is the agenda tools, and you can collapse it or expand it. You've got the agenda that you're actually looking at that you could scroll through and see, and the ability to add or in this case just remove, I guess, since you're looking at the agenda itself, items from the.
Okay, so you talk a little bit to me about what you think each of those agenda tools would do. So we talked about what they functionally do in the desktop version, but I'm curious how you think they would work on mobile. What would you expect to have happen? So if you clicked add sessions, what would happen?
Okay. So if I click add sessions, I would basically expect this to take me back to one of the other pages in the mobile environment that lists all the sessions with filters. under this same agenda. So it would show the same agenda name and everything. It would just have the ability to look at other sessions to possibly add to this agenda.
Okay.
If I were to click download, I'm guessing that's going to download it locally to the phone for me to view offline or something like that. And how that would actually work is I would expect to click that, and then I use Android, so I don't know how iPhone works, but in Android it would show at the top a notification that whatever file name has been downloaded. New agenda, if I clicked new agenda, I would expect it to do a pop-up, saying enter agenda name and the save button like we had before. Rename, similar pop-up with save new name, and delete pop-up. Are you sure you want to delete agenda, whatever agenda name is?
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. That is all the questions I had. Do you have any other feedback about, or any other screens you'd like to revisit? And any other comments would be great.
None at the moment. Everything seems pretty good. I like it.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.